So, VenomFangX has left. At first, I didn't really know how to respond to this, whether this was a good or bad thing. On the one hand, VenomFangX is probably the reason that I and many people came to YouTube. He was the reason for my first video, and he was the reason for my return after a long hiatus. But on the other hand, VenomFangX so confidently spread misinformation without research, either accidentally or intentionally. But either way, his confidence, his overconfidence, was a bad thing. His overconfidence in these purported facts, as I pointed out in my last video, on the Dead Sea Scrolls, it was hugely misplaced, and he misleads a lot of people, or misled a lot of people. And for that reason, I think it's a good thing that he's gone. On top of that, another good reason that he's gone was his insistence on constant censorship of everything. Even when he tried to have ratings, he ended up censoring them because he didn't like the results. And ironically, I think that this censorship is part of what contributed to his own censorship. So as GoGreen18 commented on her video about him leaving, this is a form of censorship, a really bad one. It's a death threat. It's definitely not the worst form of censorship. People in Nazi Germany or communist Russia endured very real death as a form of censorship. In this case, we aren't even sure if VenomFangX actually has been threatened, and even if he has been threatened, we don't really know if these people who have threatened him actually intend to do anything. But in those eras of history, people did do something. You died if you spoke out against these governments. That said, it's still a bad thing, obviously, death threats as a form of censorship. But, back to my point, these Muslims probably wouldn't have responded with death threats if they'd been able to comment on VenomFangX's channel and give video responses. It's still barbaric, but you can see how it's very probable that VenomFangX, ironically, through his censorship of his channel, he wanted to say all these things about Muslims and how evil they were and how evil their religion was, and didn't want anyone to be able to comment against that. Ironically, probably led to him getting these death threats, which is a little humorous. I say humorous because I again don't think that anything's actually going to happen to him. I hope not, obviously. But it's ironic.